Today is 25th of July. This will be the second last video recording for the exam diploma in estate agency. I have done most of the difficult papers, which is in the part one and the part two. I have done the difficulty papers like introduction to law, taxation, and then real estate agency practice. Laws relating to properties, and then estate agency law, and then I come to the part one paper like marketing recently, and then now I'm finishing up the all the 11 papers, which is excluding the accounting paper lah. So this will be the last two, building technology one, which is the D06. And then later on, I will do the D12, building technology two. I choose to do these two together because they are actually overlapping areas. So in the future, the new syllabus may actually put these two papers into one single subject. But anyway, for now, as of today and probably the next 1 or 2 years, this diploma in estate agency conducted by the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agents, and Property Managers. As regards to building technology, will be still two papers. One in part one, the D06 paper, another one in part two, which is the D12 paper. So let me blow up the syllabus. So this is the syllabus. General appreciation of the building industry, organization and function, general of modern building construction, function of building, elements, knowledge of drawing and measurements are required, properties and uses of basic building materials are commonly used, and appropriate finishes and fittings. So in the syllabus, you can actually classify them into basically four paragraphs lah. So organization and function of building industry in this syllabus, usually they ask about the different processes and the progress of the construction of building lah. So usually say from the initial designing or even after the tendering stage, and then later coming to the construction stage, and who are the professionals involved. These are quite commonly asked also question in the earlier years. Then the second paragraph, general of modern building construction, and this one it regards to those areas like foundation work, all the selection of soil type with the foundation, and then issues of types of building, timber base, reinforced concrete base, frame types of building, and then the number three, functions of building and building elements. This is a big area. In fact, here in this exam and subsequently in part two, this part functions of buildings and building elements will be repeated in both. So this will include things like wall openings, different types of building construction methods, different types of framework. It will be divided into area like doors, windows, roof, or the flooring. So here it mentions also the knowledge of drawing and measurements are required. This is mentioned in part one, and therefore it's actually about drawing techniques and the different symbols and icons and labeling usually used in the industry. So it's more to draftsmanship, people who draft a layout plan, who requires to read the map or read the layout plan of the architects. Property and uses of basic building material commonly used and appropriate finishes and fittings. This usually will ask about finishes. So what are the finishes like for ceiling finishes, floor finishes, um, kitchen tiles finishes, what are types of tiling in the kitchen, why do you choose those tilings, and then fittings like for example, the suspended ceiling. So this type of suspended ceilings, the lightings and the fittings, how it would be different compared to those slab types of ceiling. So let's move in to the individual topics. So here I want to emphasize the fact that overview of the building technology paper is that it is a basic paper, and it's not very complicated. In fact, it's one of the easier paper to pass in the part one. Probably one or two, part one or part two, building technology will be rated as the easiest or one of the easiest to get a pass. So basically, you need to be straightforward giving your answer, and then drawings. You might have to make some drawings, do some drawings using some symbols, and then I would go in also later about how is it different from building tech two. So sometimes people study in building tech one, and then going on to second part, which is the building tech two. They have also overlapping layers, or overlapping areas where building two also repeats some of the question of building one. So anyway, the basic areas for building one, the building technology one, is the summary just now. Building and construction industry, material use, function of building like window, walls, staircase, your ceiling door, and then also touch on the foundations. And then I will show you the differences in between two, part one and part two. Part one, you can see it talks about more on introduction to the building technology. So it basic things that you can see roughly, like a building as in the physical structure, foundation work, construction stages, what are the symbols that you use, what are the material that you use, different types of elements that is being used in the case of choosing to use window, what type of window that you use, what type of door you use, internal of the house and external of the house. So what are the material means? It can also touch on what are the types of bricks, what are the types of newer technology, the blocks, bonding, what are different type of bonding, how do you erect walls? These are the types of questions that you come out in the building tech one. So something that you can see. Building tech two is something which probably you can say a bit into the plumbing job so hidden inside the building So of course you can see water tank if you open up the ceiling but usually you will not go and open up the ceiling to see the water tank inside. So building tech two consists of subjects which are more into things that you cannot see. Like for example, septic tank, which is buried in the ground, and then the water system, so-called the piping system. So how is the pipe in the toilet go and link to the septic tank or there is a soil pipe or waste pipe what are the differences between the different plumbing pipes, one stack or two stack system. And then also in the case of building tech two, they will have deep foundation so which is away, mostly away from the construction of normal residential building so it will be deep foundation for purpose of like high rise, very high rise condominium or bridges, or even building things on difficult soils. So these are things that you actually don't touch on in the building tech one. Then in building tech two also there is some issue about pollution in the case of environment so something which you probably can't see as in the building and then ventilation, which is air ventilation, light ventilation inside the building So these are the differences in between building tech one and building tech two But the difficulty of passing both are similar. It is easy to pass both paper in part one and part two. So I would like to disclaim that if in case any question on similar topic were to come out, I hold no responsibility or liability of such occurrences. So this is the where it is for analysis. As you can see, there are many pages that is also repeated lah. So there are a lot of repeated topics. I will go into repeated topics in a short while. So this is the repeated topic for uh, building tech 1. So building tech 1, as you can see, it talks about material used in construction, which is bricks, cement, mortar, bonding, or workability of concrete. This is an area where it always asks. And then second is foundation, because the building need to stand on foundation, so they need to understand what type of foundation. And a lot of job of an estate agent, you go into a building, you tend to see cracks here and there. So it is regarding foundation and type of soil in that area that this thing happen. And then of course our buyer and our tenant are concerned about the safety of house, safety of the use of the building. So therefore foundation is one of the main concern of the building. If the building foundation is no good, then you can see cracks and uh, big holes in the wall. So these are choices of question about how soil type and all the different types of foundation would affect the stability of the building. Then number three is the area of elements and also the finishes. So it can actually ask about roof, it can ask about ceiling, window, doors, and stairs. So stairs always come out in part one, not so much in the part two. Whereas a roof can come out in both part one and part two. When window, doors, and ceiling, these are usually in part one, but roof in particular will come out in both part one and part two. Number four area is the different finishes. Like for example, these are more detailed things. Like when you use floor tiles, mosaic, or you use graphite, or what type of material you choose to use in kitchen, in bathroom, or in bedroom. And then you also have some maybe some interaction with the pesticide use, or no pests like insects and things like that. If it is timber, so this is an issue where estate agents might be asked about different type of flooring, the timber flooring, parquet and all those problem with the pets and also pests. Pest and pet means some of the pets that get by house owner like dogs and cats, and then pests means insects, and then those things that would have concern on the timber use in the house. Symbol is in number five. Symbols, drawings, label of electrical appliances, stages of construction progress. This type of question used to come out in the early years, 2014, 2015, 2016. But lately, 2017, 2018, this type of question are becoming less. So probably this is similar to economics paper and also in marketing paper. There is a change of examiner. So likely the change of examiner has some preference over this area of subject. So BT1 about this building technology one, what it basically asks about is some sort of very brief area on instruction in introduction to building basic material used in construction, foundation, concrete and mortar. Concrete and mortar, they can ask quite detailed, like how to describe various stages of concreting. That means how to actually mix concrete, the types of density that you require for the strength that the concrete would support the building. So different beams would have higher density, and then retaining wall would have higher strength. But then the normal partition wall would not need so high strength, especially in the frame building. So these are questions that can come up. Flooring finishes and then elements like different types of tiles, or choosing a different material over certain use of the room. Bathroom is different from kitchen, is different from car porch. Then construction processes. So some sort of sometimes they will question us about, from clearing of the land and then going into construction, becoming a site. The clearing, the construction process, describe the process. Even there is one year they ask about timbering. That means if you excavate the earth, then how are you going to retain the earth from falling back? So these are using planks and wood piles to actually support the wall of the excavated trench. So this is certainly you need to know about certain words are used. How to read construction drawings. This is especially in part one, where you need to even draw some uh, symbol and drawings for the question if they ask about how to read the maps, or how to read layout plan, and what are the scale used, usually in the scale of 1 to 500 or 1 to 100, depending on the types of details that you need to see lah in the architecture drawing. So there's always ask doors, windows, ceiling, stairs. These are questions that always ask. And then roof also may be asked in part one as well as part two. So the repeats, I would say, just to highlight lah. This is the repeats. I blow it out for you to see. Types of bricks, mortar, blocks, bonding, workability of concrete aggregates, foundation, shallow. The part one usually asks about shallow foundation, pile foundation, rough foundation, strip foundation. Then element of building like door, opening, roof, stairs, all these things you need to know how to draw. So different types of door, different type of window opening, symbols and drawing scale, dimension, construction processes. These are the four common areas. So four main repeats, if you target it, you may have two questions coming out from area of function, like door, window, roof, stairs, ceiling, door, mortar, bricks, bonding, and concrete. This one functions of certain elements of the construction. You always come out. Then you have another question about foundation. So you target this, you already have three questions. Then the number four question for you to choose, either you have those who doesn't want to draw, then this is the good question to answer. That is about construction processes, the tendering, handling over stage, who are the professionals involved. So this is just like writing essay. So this type of answer, you can score if you just list out the processes. Symbol is for those who want to draw, and sometimes there will be funny questions like botanical classification of wood. So these are type where I would rather avoid answering, because you need to remember all the different name, botanical name of the timber. So which is not our main interest area lah. We are not selling timber lah anyway. So this is four area, and probably you can choose two or three areas to concentrate, and then come up with the best four answers in the exam. So what is your fear? A lot of people actually fear about building technology paper. In fact, they say they are not worried about law paper or taxation paper, but they are very fearful of building technology paper, because most of us, if we are never into actually civil engineering, we will never actually know about drawings, or talking about buildings. Although it can be your interest, like in the sense that repair of your plumbing, pipes, taps, water taps, but most people, especially in today's scenario where you can just have a handphone call and somebody to come and fix the things, you are not interested to know what happens. Just like you would not want to know what happened to your car, even you probably can fix it yourself. So this is the fear of unknown, what is going to come out, a lot of new terms, a lot of words to use that I do not know, and then I need to draw something. They said how to draw, in fact I can't even draw a line. Some people say that. So let me say that there are three things. Let's see, three things. One is terms. So in building technology, you need to know certain terms. So terms of how to call, pitch roof. So this is a pitch roof. What does it mean by pitch roof? Then there is words like, for example, you would use certain terms to describe the suspended timber floor. Then there will be those area where it joins from the wood supports to the wall, and then it's joist. So these are terms that you need to learn, and then you need to practice drawing so that you label those area, the name of those things. So no need to learn a lot, but just to make sure you can draw out and label the different different parts, the components of your drawing. So 3D drawing is important. Sometimes 3D drawing can actually give the picture that you actually do understand that the whole thing in a building scenario rather than drawing a 2D drawing lah. So 2D drawing probably to some people is easier. 3D drawing is harder, but then practice and do some 3D drawing for common repeat topics like suspended timber ground floor lah. So the solution to your fear is to target the repeat drawings, try and do a few, especially with now this website, the estateagentexam.com, you can actually see a lot of colored picture which is available in the public domain. You can actually go and search also in the sense that public domain, actually you can see a lot of different pictures. And I now like to bring you to these pictures to see. And in fact, you can just use, for example, this particular search word. This one is ceiling. So if you do ceiling, then ceiling, and then you search under ceiling, then all the ceilings will come out, types of ceiling finishes. So you can in fact go in and see the types of ceiling finishes, and this means you can actually see with color in the website. So of course, this is quite impossible if you were to use a hard copy book, because hard copy book, even if it is colored, if you photocopy, you will not have the color anymore. So in a way, using website and search under different names, for example, door, then you can see in the website the collection of pictures which will allow you to types of doors, so allow you to actually visualize what are the things that it is regarding. So now you can see here this particular answer, external door, internal door, we have a lot of links because this question has been asked before, so you know that this is a repeat, quite a repeat type of question. So this type of repeat topic, this one is because the particular website has been changed. Okay, factors to consider in deciding on the types of doors. We go to 2013. So this particular question in 2013 asks about types of doors. Then it explain different types of doors. And then some of these pictures can be seen. So this is a door. This is a door with colored panel with nice thing. And then this is panel door, matchbox door. Advantages of panel door. So these are regarded as some of the easier way to learn about something you can visualize. And another one is maybe you can search under window. So in the window, you have different types of window design and method of opening. So this is question 4 in 2016. So in this particular, then types of window based on method opening, because this question is a repeat topic, so it link back to 2011 because this question has been asked in 2011 and repeated in 2013. So now in this format, you know that is quite a common repeat topic. So you can see you can see the different types of opening, fixed and non-opening types of awning. This is awning type, single or double hung, tilt and turn. So these are terms that you need to remember when it asks about window. Then you draw some of these windows, the way it can be opened. And this is a repeat question, so it may be asked again. So for example, this type of awning type of window would be useful for maybe second floor, or first floor. This type would be probably for ground floor. Why is it so? And this is there is a reason, because if you have this awning coming out, protruding casement or awning, then people walking at the corridor on the ground floor may actually hit on this window panel. And then whereas if it is slided on, you would not have any reason you actually obstruct any passerby lah. So these are reasons that you may want to say, yes, I choose to use one type over the other type for a certain characteristic of the window. So let us go back as long as you know how to use the website to look for the types of information that you need lah. So now we go back to our presentation. So let me continue. You target the repeat drawings, target the essay type of question. If it is things like construction processes, what are the professionals involved in the construction business, things like that, it's an essay type of question. Or you can actually target essay type of question like why you choose uh, metal frame as your frame building. Why is it metal frame building is now preferred over concrete, reinforced concrete? Because of cost, because of easier casting or easier on the site changes, because on the site is basically better with the reinforced concrete, because you can always shape according to the site. Whereas metal frame, you probably can't do on-site adjustment, because everything has to be measured and make correct correction in the factory. So these are question which is essay type. Then you target part question, like for example, you have part one, which is question A on essay. Then question B, which is a bit of drawing. So you probably prefer to answer this type of question if you are not keen on drawing. So because your part questions, even though the drawing is actually intensive, the marks is not so much. So whereas you compare to one question which is totally drawing and you are fearful of drawing, then you have to avoid the drawing question. So this is targeting how to target part question. So it is not difficult to pass Building Technology 1, and in fact it's just a 2-hour paper with 4 questions out of 7 that you have to answer lah. So roughly about 30 minutes per question. So the technique is to basically do this as I summarize it. You do drawing, diagram, illustration with color pencil, with your ruler. Bring your color pencil, bring ruler, and bring whatever things that you can use in drawing, so that to enhance your drawing, scoring the marks from the examiner. If a good drawing, especially with a few highlights here and there, the examiner tends to actually give you better marks. Then you give some reasoning on some types of why you choose certain thing, especially when they say advantages, disadvantages, or why you choose these factors affecting. Then you do some writing, give some reasoning to in a way impress on the fact that you actually understand how it is applied in the real life lah. So illustrate, explain, draw, and sometimes you need to memorize some of those processes of timber preservation, processes of cement, aggregates, how to make it strong, and then what is the strength affected by aggregate, different types of aggregate used in cementing. Okay, thank you so much. This is a second last presentation, video presentation for Building Technology 1. estateagentexam.com is a website that enables online study of the diploma in estate agency conducted by Board of Valuer Appraiser, Estate Agent and Property Managers Malaysia. So my tagline, know your position, crystallize your vision and mission to be different. Thank you so much.